Jesus or Dracula? Let's make a deal. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower, and you, whether you meant to or not, are here on the Christian Whistleblower YouTube channel. We are about to have some fun, ladies and gentlemen. We're about to be fun, but we're also, hello, Moz and Brooks, about to be serious as well. We're going to talk today seriously about let's make a deal. Jesus or Dracula. We're here to help you guide your own spirit, master your own ascension, and be your own guru. We're here to make sure that you know you don't have original sin, that you've got the spark of divinity within, and that you're divine, you're sovereign, and you're free. So let's talk a little bit about, and I am serious, Jesus or Dracula. And for those that are asking, that is Gary Oldham from Bram Stoker's Dracula. And that's the Mormon Jesus. On the other side, I stole him, spruced him up a little bit. And there you have a dandy little meme. So let's talk about this. And this came up the other night when we were talking about something. And then I realized not only was it worthy of a meme, it's worthy of a discussion, ladies and gentlemen, because it really is true. There's a lot of correlations between these two and Rosie Buds. Something tells me that might be a drug reference, but I don't know. Rosie Buds says that they're live for the first time. So very nice. Did he create Reality Realm? Nice to see you and the rest of you. So let's take a look at this. I want to show you something. And I want to show you something that, well, we're just going to show you and we'll just let it be and we'll go from there. So let me get it to where it's easy to show you. And then I'll show you and we'll be able to look at it and hopefully keep somewhat of an eye on the chat room. So ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Take a look at this. We're just going to take a very simple, straightforward look at, there we go. Well, you're going to have to look at the chat room, which is a little weird, but that's okay. Let's look at this, ladies and gentlemen. And you know what? We might just do that. Well, I don't like how it stays all white on the sides, but what are you going to do, ladies and gentlemen? What are you going to do? Let's look at this. This is a dandy little meme that I made, one of my first Photoshop efforts. I think it turned out rather well. So let's take a look at it. And let's ask these questions, ladies and gentlemen. Why isn't it sharing? It doesn't look like it's sharing. Let me see if it is actually sharing. Let me see if it is actually sharing. Oh, it is sharing. Okay, so I will reshare. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. So let's go back to it. And we're going to share it. So let's take a look at what this is from the Christian Whistleblower. And let's talk about Jesus or Dracula. Now, both of them died and rose from the dead. It's true. Did Jesus die and rise from the dead? If you believe the stories, yes, he did. Did Dracula die and rise from the dead? If you believe the stories, yes, he did. And who am I to tell you what to believe in? I'm just putting out the information. Again, I'm just the mailman. I am bringing you the information, giving you the ability to make your own fact, take the facts and make up your own decision. So both Jesus and Dracula died and rose from the dead. Both of them hate crosses. They do. They really do. Do you think Jesus likes a cross? No. And, Dracula don't like no crosses. And did you know that in the Greek New Testament, the word for cross is actually stauros, which means stake? I am not kidding you. Look it up. The word for cross in the New Testament is stake, because they're talking about the part that goes in the ground and people carry the part that goes across, the cross beam. So Jesus was killed with a stake, and you could kill Dracula with a stake. Oh, sometimes it's just, you just can't make things up. It's so funny. They both hate crosses. They both died and rose from the dead. They both like the same hairstyles. Now, look, that is evident. Jesus, long curly hair, facial hair. Dracula, long hair, some styling facial hair. Although I have to say that Dracula is probably a more snappy dresser than Jesus. In my opinion, Dracula is a snappier dresser than Jesus. Now, let's move on to our next point. Dracula needs permission to come in. You know this. If you've ever watched a vampire movie, if you've ever seen any of these shows on TV, the vampire has to ask if he can come in. Dracula has to ask, can he come in? And Jesus stands at the door and knocks. You've seen the pictures. He says in Revelation chapter 3, he stands at the door and knocks. Why? Because Jesus also has to have permission to come in to your heart, to come into your life. Both Dracula and Jesus need permission. They both died and rose from the dead. They both ate crosses. They both liked the same kind of hairstyles. They both had disciples. Ladies and gentlemen, where else do you get this? Such insightful commentary, such insightful analogies between two of literature's most famous figures, the Lord of Darkness and the Lord himself. So, this is funny stuff. I just want to give you a second to gather yourself because I know that some of you are probably screaming mad right now. But let's continue with our list and let's get into some real actual comparisons here, ladies and gentlemen. Both of them require you to drink their blood. Did you know, I don't know if you've watched many vampire movies, but in order to get made into a vampire, not only do you have to get bit by Dracula, but you have to sacrifice yourself to Dracula. See, this is not a complete list that I've made here. You have to sacrifice yourself to Dracula. And then Dracula will cut himself, usually with his fingernail, which is kind of creepy, but he'll cut himself in his wrist and put some blood into your mouth. So you got to drink a couple mouthfuls of blood. It's almost like if I had been making a Dracula movie, I probably would have had him drain it into a chase to make the analogy between communion and Dracula even more clear. But think about it. To become one of Dracula's children, you've got to drink Dracula's blood. What do you got to do to become one of Jesus's children? Jesus said in the book of John, if you don't drink my blood, you've got no part in me. If you don't drink my blood, you've got no life in you. And Dracula says, if you don't drink my blood, you have no life in you. And Jesus says that in Hebrew, and I don't know how. So I won't. Yada, yada, yada. Dude, think about that. They both require you to drink their blood. They both require you to die for them. If you want to be one of Dracula's servants, you got to die for him. If you want to be one of Jesus' servants, you got to die for him. Now, they both promise you resurrection. They both promise you that you'll come back alive again. But here's where it gets interesting. Here's where we play let's make a deal. Because I know I'm talking to some people out there that are just dying to give away their soul to somebody. Some of you can't wait for Sunday so you can go give your soul to somebody. I don't understand it. I think it's a bad idea. I'd keep my soul. I wouldn't give it to anybody. I wouldn't ask either one of these guys into my heart. I wouldn't give my soul to either one of them. But some of you are just dying to give your soul away. You go to church, there's thousands of people that go to church every Sunday and give their soul away. So I'm just saying, if you're dying to give your soul away, if you're that hot to trot to give your soul away, let me give you, as a public service, some options, okay? I just want to give you some options for who to give your soul away to. You can give it to Jesus. You can give it to Dracula. But I want you to know who is offering the better deal right now. I mean, it is, Black Friday, Cyber Monday week and all that stuff. So we're all thinking deals. And Dracula and Jesus are both in the deal-making business. And apparently that business is a booming. And I'm trying to put the kibosh on that business. So they both require you to die for them. They both promise a resurrection. But Jesus promises pie in the sky and the sweet by and by someday after you die. And you got to trust him. It's really going to happen, he says. It's really going to happen. You got to trust him. With Dracula, you don't got to wait for pie in the sky and the sweet by and by someday after you die. You don't got to wait for that. With Dracula, you die for him and you get boom. You don't get resurrection someday. You get resurrection today. No wait. And you don't have to trust Dracula. You die, you resurrect, boom. But there's more. Do you know that I've shown you this in Romans chapter 8, that Jesus says that what him and the Father offer you is to be resurrected in your mortal body, this same body. So you're going to come back in this same body, probably as a baby, live through all that, have 10 or 12, maybe 15, 20 good years, and then start decaying and dying and getting sick and all that. That's what they're bringing you back for. Resurrection in this mortal body. Jesus offers you resurrection someday in the same broke down body. That's Jesus's deal. But Dracula offers you resurrection today and resurrection in eternal hotness. 6-pack, 8-pack abs, big biceps. If you're a lady, perfectly feminine breasts and hips and all of that stuff that you ladies like and that we like, that you like. You are beautiful, perfect you are, when you get bit by Dracula and you drink Dracula's blood and you give him your life, you get restored immediately to watch Twilight. That's all I can say. Watch it. You know, her, whatever her name was, Kristen, whatever, Bella in the movie, she was kind of cute, but dude, she went from kind of cute girl next door to super hot when she got bit by the vampire and drank his blood. Did you notice? And you're like, you can run faster, you can jump higher, you can appear, you can disappear, you can run like the wind. Dude, you can go underwater and you don't even have to breathe. You could like just hang out underneath there. I'm telling you, man, there's some big bonuses with Dracula. Not only are you in eternal hotness, but dude, you can fly. You can shapeshift. You can disappear. You can like, it's just amazing. You've seen the movies. Plus, guys, chicks dig you. Chicks dig you. Jesus doesn't offer those benefits. I'm just saying, for those of you that are dying to give your soul to somebody, Jesus doesn't have those benefits. Let us review. Both died and rose from the dead. Both hate crosses. Both like the same hairstyles. Both had disciples. That was inappropriate. I won't say it, but it was still funny. Dracula needs permission to come in. Jesus stands at the door and knocks. Both require you to drink their blood. Both require you to die for them and promise a resurrection. Jesus says someday in the same broke down body. Dracula says today in eternal hotness. Plus, with Dracula, you can fly, shapeshift, disappear. Chicks dig you. And finally, Dracula might actually be real. Dracula might actually be real. We know that Jesus is not. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm pretty sure that you've never heard that anywhere before. Pretty sure. And I'm pretty happy with that production. Guys dig them too, says Tracy Dyer, which is very, very true. So let's go back a bit to the chat room and let's answer some questions. These should be some good ones. Greetings from Beirut. That is not Johnny Depp in the pic. That is not Gary Oldham or Gary or Willem Dafoe in the pic. It is Gary Oldham and the Mormon Jesus. Greetings to you, Pixie Garcia. I'm glad you're enjoying the Florida vacation. Moston Brooks is in the house. Eric Freeman says Le Champion. With apologies to Chris Jericho, I am Le Champion, a biblical interpretation and exegesis. I'll take that title. I'm the best in the world at what I do. I'm the only one in the world that does what I do. And I'm not afraid to say it. All right, what else we got here? Keith 330 says this is his favorite podcast. Thank you so much. I appreciate that very much. Vinny Eastwood in the house. Vinny, I know we got to do a show, bro. We got to do a show. Joshua James has been a naughty boy. Marston Brooks had Dracula. Dracula had him sleeping on his back out of fear from the ages of 7 to 14. Marston, did you ever worry about Blackula? Because there was, I remember they had a black Dracula, and his name was Blackula. I wonder if you ever worried about Blackula, because I know you was like in Oakland, and it was probably more possible for Blackula to show up than Dracula, but you never know. So that was funny. Moss and I are tight. But I remember Blackula scared me, to tell you the truth. But anyway, Dracula had me sleeping on my back. I guess you want to see him coming at least. Okay, I get it. Glad to have you here, Marston. Jason Jarvis says, looks good, Jeff. Thank you so much for that. Bo says it's an interesting show. Glad to hear that you think it's an interesting show. Vinny Eastwood says, holy shit. That's very interesting. It is kind of interesting, isn't it? It's interesting and earth-shattering info, says KC. It is pretty awesome, isn't it? And that is one of the reasons why the J-dubs are not into crosses. And when even Tracy Dyer says it's very interesting, you know you've hit on something that's pretty doggone interesting. And speaking of interesting, there's a girl that Tracy sent me something about. She's a very professional lady. She is a black lady, and I say that because she talks, I guess, about the melanin, and you got to have the melanin if you're going to be ascending. So I'm going to try to get her on. She said she'd come on. What do you want to talk about? I want to talk about the melanin. Do you really, if this is just our meat suit, does it really matter if we got melanin or not melanin? If it's not this thing that's ascending, I would love to have her come on and talk about that. And it's funny because all these black Hebrew Israelite with their, they got their badges and their swords and their helmets and all their fancy clothes. Not one of them has ever said or talked to me about coming on the show, even though I've asked. And here's this very nice, attractive, well put together lady stepping up and saying, oh, well, maybe I'll come on. So I like it. If and this is across all races, you know how I talk. If the brothers won't step up, it's nice to have the sisters step up. And if all the brothers out there, the Marzulis and the Clarks and the Begleys and the Quails and all of them won't debate me, I was hoping a sister would step up like a Nanya, but she won't either. So I got, mad respect to, her name is Letitia, I believe, for even entering into the discussion. So I sure hope that she comes on. I think it'd be very, very interesting. Cynthia says it's too fun being Jeffrey. It is pretty damn fun to be me. Both don't like wooden stakes. That's a good one. That's a good one. What a coincidence, says Rosie Buds. This is great stuff, says One with Nature. They even look alike. They do. Says Amy Ben Ezra. They both deal in blood, says Slang and Truth. Yes, they do. Was Jesus a snappy dresser in his time? Oh, he did have that. Of course, he wasn't real, but they said he had that garment without the seam, and all the boys and girls wanted that thing. So I guess so. He must have been a snappy dresser in his time. Javanka says it's good to carry a cross around. Laura Evans, who I don't think I've seen before, welcome to the channel. And if you have been here, forgive me for not noticing. We do get a lot of visitors. Laura just simply says, oh my. And I will take that for a positive oh my, because usually oh my is a good thing to hear. Dracula might actually be real. Chapstick laughs because, yeah, it's true. Anne Marie Eber, who we saw, was it yesterday on the channel? Over 4,100 views. It was a really good show. Anne Marie Eber breaking down the Matrix. Anne Marie, if you had to pick Jesus or Dracula, who would you pick? Dracula might actually be real because there's probably more historical evidence there's more historical evidence for a real Dracula than there is a real Jesus. There really is. Slang and Truth says this is amazing. Hey, in Winter Springs, Florida, Donna Gracie. Jesus also has to hear out loud to come in. Exactly. One in your house, one in your heart. They both are the same kind of dude, sort of. Oh, Dawn says, are they the same person? Dee Dee's laughing out loud. Glad to hear that. Sarah Hopkins says, if there's a knock at the door and no one's there, don't open the door. I like that. Even the black-eyed kids have to ask to come in, don't they? The black-eyed kids have to ask to come in. KC says, $1.99. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'll take every $1.99 I can get. $1.99 here, $1.99 there, and all of a sudden you got like $5. I love it. And One with Nature's hitting the like button. Thank you so much. Russ is way too serious. I got to read Russ's comment. Russ says, I have a photo of Yeshua generated from the Shroud of Turin. I have a pic of Vlad the Impaler too. There's no resemblance. Russ, bro, you're being way too serious. Take a deep breath. First of all, Yeshua never existed. He's not real. Second of all, the Shroud of Turin was Jacques de Molay. And third of all, Vlad didn't look like Jacques. Sacre bleu. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Slang and Truth says, Jeff, you're the fucking man. Oops, did I say that word out loud? Bro. Thank you. I appreciate that, Slang, and right back at you. So what actually happens when people drink the blood of Jesus? You get possessed. You seal a eternal covenant for your soul unless you break it. Nothing good. Nothing good, would I say. Russ is standing, aloha from San Fran, Babylon. I like that. Standing fast behind the enemy lines, good for you. Ooh, Marsden Brooks with a joke. I like this one. Why does Dracula fear the cross? Because he's allergic to bullshit. Salute, Marsden. That's some good shit right there. And I said another bad word. They're both mystical and mythical entities. Absolutely. I almost hit my third homeless person in the road today, says KC. Well, quit driving on the sidewalk, KC. The cup of wine was for Passover, signifying that Elijah and the Holy Spirit was present at that moment. Really, Russ? Cool story, bro. Let's see. Options are always good. Options are always good. Bo says, I don't want either one of them. Good for you. Good for you. As much time as Jeff spent studying the Bible, I can actually listen to him and believe what he says and pass a good word on to others without hesitation. Thank you, Chapstick, but I would still check me out. Ooh, Amy, good one. Dracula changes his form and people welcome him into their hearts. He can then drink as much energy as he needs. But Jesus does the same thing. Jesus changes his form and and people. And, here's the thing, too, about it. Here's the thing, too, that I want to talk about. Jesus lies and Dracula tells the truth. Trust me. I have 100,000 hours studying Jesus and a lot of hours studying Dracula, too. Always liked Dracula. I was like Marsden. Since I was a kid, I liked Dracula for some reason. Weird kid, weird guy. It is what it is. But Dracula always tells him. In fact, Dracula tries to talk you out of becoming a vampire. Oh, please, I want to become a vampire. Dracula's like, no, you don't want none of this. Oh, please, no, it's terrible. I know you're hot eternally, and I know you look good eternally, and you can jump, and you can disappear, and chicks dig you, but it's just too much. You don't want this. Dracula tries to talk you out of taking his deal. Jesus knocking at your door. Boom, boom, boom. And Dracula tells the truth. No, you don't want this. Jesus lies. He hides it in the details. I'll give you eternal life. But he doesn't tell you he gives you eternal life in this mortal body. I had to tell you that. Out of Romans chapter 8, verse 11, I think. I had to tell you that Jesus only raises your mortal body. Oh, Jeff, but at the last trump. When's the last trump going to happen? I'll wait. They've been talking about the last trump for 2,000 years. Cousins, it's a con. I sold timeshare for 10 years. I know a con when I see one. There ain't going to be no last trump. You ain't never going to get no glorified body. You never going to get no spiritual body. You coming back in this broke ass John forever and ever and ever and ever. It's the way it works. At least Dracula tells you, yeah, you will be beautiful. You will be perfect. You will be strong. You will be eternally young. But it gets old. Don't do it. Dracula tells the truth and Jesus lies. It's just the way it is. And right on time, Scotty Boy says, at least you know where you stand with Vlad, with Dracula. You do. Dracula's no longer in the shadows. I think there's some real, and I really do think there's real vampires. I am convinced that there's real vampires. There was a time when a real vampire was in communication with me, at least somewhat. I would welcome that communication if it's towards the defeat of this ruling world system. And I'll just leave that there. Terrible. Twilight. The Twilight movies were bad, but Chapstick, I got to tell you, I think I am the only heterosexual male in all of North America that read all of the Twilight novels. That's right. And let me tell you something. If you're on a dry spell, gentlemen, if you're single and you're on a dry spell with the ladies, you know, you just not something, your game is off or something, go to Starbucks and take a Twilight book with you. Sit at Starbucks and read it, or pretend like you're reading it. I guarantee you, go at a time, you know, evening, lunch, you know, something when there's people hanging out. If you go in there as a dude looking good, I mean, dress up, comb your hair, brush your teeth, go in there, read a Twilight book, I swear to you, you'll walk out with digits. I'm telling you, you will walk out with digits, gentlemen. Ladies, if you're into ladies, that would work for you too. Here we go about Yeshua. Russ is just way too serious with this stuff. Russ, he wasn't real. It's like debating which of the dwarfs was the tallest. Dude, it didn't happen. T Boom watched all of Harry Potter, or hasn't watched all of Harry Potter. Harry Potter just was kind of boring for me. But I did take my kids to all the movies, and I bought all those books too. The movies weren't good, Bo Diamond. Read the books, Twilight. I would still recommend those. You can run super fast, jump real high. It's kind of like you're flying. What do I think about Marina Abramovic? I still think she is Countess Bathory. I really do. I never watched True Blood. Didn't get into that. The demon Ahriman, the great black dragon, leader of the Black Lodge, a rebel group from the Golden Dawn. Don't know anything about that person, but they sound interesting. They really do. Let's see. I'm going to tell my single male friends about that. Do it, Jaylene. And I mean, a Twilight book is cheap. Go to the used bookstore and grab one. Just go to the used bookstore and grab one. Let's see. Let me get back up where I was. This is kind of cool. We got some good stuff going on here. Let's see. And you remember how Tom Cruise or Louis's character, who was it? Was it Louis or was it Tom Cruise that bit the little girl? I think it was Tom Cruise that bit her, Lestat. And he got trouble because you're not supposed to bite little kids. If only Jesus's disciples had the character that Dracula's disciples do, this world would be a lot better place. Oh boy, did he just say that? Yes, he did. And it is absolutely true. Let me see. I lost the chat here. Boy, there's a lot of chatting going on today. Where is it? Come on, man. Come on. Where did this go, man? Where did this go? There it is. Let's see. True Blood. We already talked about that. We talked about that demon Ahriman. I'll have to look him up. Vlad the Impaler was the Grand Master of the Red Dragon Society. That's interesting. If Jesus hates crosses, why does everyone use a cross to get negative or demonic things away from him? Well, if they don't, and they don't go away. Guys dig them both too. Tracy said that twice, and she's right. Vampires can walk in the day. Oh, and Ahriman is a vampire that can walk in the day. Interesting. Good News says one wears pants and one wears a dress. Although I think in Bram Stoker's Dracula, old Dracula was wearing kind of a robe dressy thing. At least Dracula leaves teeth marked behind. I don't get that, Sarah Hopkins. Maybe Sarah's into teeth marks, and I'm not here to judge. I am not here to judge. If you like teeth marks, Sarah, good for you, girl. Go for it with your bad self. Enjoy life is what I say. Life is too short. So if you like teeth marks, good for you. Good for you. Trent is digging it from Oregon. James Newkirk says he's high and he's in Nashville. Nice to see you. Crosses don't work at removing negative or demonic energies. They really don't at all. It's just a sign that the demons and the preachers are working together. It's a scam. It's a scam. Dracula Hollywood myths. We're not saying he's real. I'm just saying, I'm just trying to make it interesting. Trying to make an interesting program here. Gary Oldham got a lot more ladies. As someone with 4 sisters, I can confirm women love the bad boys. Oh, that's funny. No, that's not Johnny Depp. I don't think Johnny Depp ever. Oh, he played Barnabas Collins in Dark Shadows, which I didn't see. Let's see. Dracula has the ability to learn past memories. Ooh, very, very good stuff. Good guys get the women only in the movies, mostly. That's a good point. Oh, The Night Stalker was a great show. Jesus isn't a Jewish myth because he's not even Jewish. They know he can't be the Messiah. That's true. Is the steak fake? That's funny. I found you. My wife left me with Jesus. Literally, she can have him. He's a fraud. Love the podcast. Robert, I know this sounds a little bit harsh, but you're better off, brother. Trust me. Let's just, let's not even trust me. Let's ask the rods. Let's ask the rods. Is Robert better off without that bitch? Yes. I'm sorry. I'm sort of joking, but dude, my divorce from the mother of my kids is the best thing that ever happened to me. The next 2 weren't so great, but the first one was really good for me. And 1 out of 3 is not too bad. But anyway, Robert, you're better off. The rods confirm it. Tom Cruise as Lestat in an interview with the vampire was legit. He did a really, really good job. Your mother would say that I'm a blasphemer. She's right, but she should watch anyway. I did not see The Last Vampire in Brooklyn. Eddie Murphy. That was probably funny. I'm not a big fan of Eddie Murphy either. Let's see. Boy, Russ is just preaching his butt off. Good for Russ. We all have melanin in the brain. Skin complexion ain't shiz. I don't know. I think it does help you, but I don't think if you were born without the melanin, you're not getting out of here. But I'll talk to Letitia about it, and we'll see what she says. Jim's wife left him for Jesus too. Jim will ask the same question. Only I'll be nicer. Is Jim better off without that woman? Yes, he is. I agree. He's a pimp. Jesus and Dracula are pimps. Let's see. I live in a family full of Catholics. Sorry, Aaron. Love the video with Anne Marie, says Great Lakes Wellness. Thank you. Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt, and Antonio Banderas all in one movie playing vampires. How about that? Yeah, that was pretty good stuff. That was good stuff. It is not good to carry a cross around. I agree with you, Slang and Truth. I wouldn't have a cross in my house. I wouldn't have a cross anywhere. I'd get rid of all crosses, but that's just me. That's just me. Where did the Romans come up with the name Jesus anyway? Well, on Monday, we're going to have Joseph Atwell back. We'll start talking about that because that's a really, really good question. Dracula is based on Vlad the Impaler. Most people think. Is that Jesus in the top hat? Nope. Jesus is the other guy. Anne Marie says she already had a Dracula. No thanks. Vlad the Impaler, British royal family. Dude, tell me that Prince Charles doesn't look like Vlad the Impaler. Oh, yeah. Definitely in the genes. I would do Dracula, says Dee Dee. Create reality realm. She would do Dracula. She's been loving vampire stories her whole life. Well, that's another benefit. Chicks dig you if you're with Dracula, and Dracula lets you. Anyway, we will move on from that. We will move on. Zeus Jesus, that's a really good one, chaps. Jama, I've always wondered, even back when I was a Christian, how Zeus and Jesus are so close. Very, very good. Very, very good. What better way for a dark entity to show itself as light, and how light is bad for the dark, so it hides. Interesting. Interesting. You should really consider exploring the grand solar minimum. Scott, I don't do fear porn, and just because it's happened before doesn't mean it's going to happen again. And I say it's not going to happen. Let's say I'm going to ask: is the grand solar minimum something we need to worry about? Rod, say no. I'm not worried about it. I am not worried about it. Jesus, Mary Magdalene. Thank you, Amy. Let's see what else we got going. What's your opinion on the Book of James, Great Lake Wellness? Cool story, bro. Jesus changed his form to look like the gardener. Yep, they're the same. I'm telling you. Jesus killed a child. I don't know if he killed one or not, but and remember, he wasn't real. So anyway, Joyce, I agree with you usually, but not this time. Jesus is not a metaphor because Jesus wasn't real, and Christ isn't a real word either. I'm trying to get people to watch you, Jeff. Most are scared to hear the truth. I'm a little scary. There's no doubt about it. I'm a little scary. Electric crystals. I do not know if Dracula would drink that kind of blood. That's a really weird question to ask, but I don't know. I don't know. Michelle Cannon would also do Dracula. Let's see. Chris Sarandon was pretty darn good in the original Fright Night. You know who else was good in the Fright Night remake? What's his name? The Irish guy with the dark hair that played in that phone booth movie, and he played in the movie with Al Pacino about the CIA. Colin Farrell, is that his name? He was a really good vampire as well. He was a good vampire. Let's see. What else we got here? Would you consider adrenochrome junkies like the Rothschilds as vampires? That's a good thing to think about. That's a good thing to think about. If the Bible's literally true, says Philip Long, then Christ was the first self-admitted famous vampire. Ooh, like that. Like that. Jesus lied and he died. Dracula tells the truth and he lives forever. Ooh, that's a good one. Dee Dee says she's proud of me. Thank you, Dee Dee. I appreciate that. Team werewolf. I would rather be a vampire than a werewolf if I had to choose, but thankfully I don't. Amy says they both suck energy, but Dracula is sexier and makes you young and beautiful again. Absolutely true. I'm going to tell my single friends about that. You should. Let's see. Am I the only person who hasn't been to a Starbucks? Probably. Suddenly, this is turning into dating advice video. Hey, I'm here to serve, Tracy Dyer. I am here to serve. I'm here to serve in all areas. And if my brother needs a little date, I'm here to help my brother get a date. And I'm telling you, take a damn book, Twilight book, into Starbeezy, and you will get yourself a number. The rest is up to you. And Brian, maybe some people want to be mobbed by gay dudes. I never got mobbed by gay dudes while reading a Twilight novel. Gay dudes did like me, but not at Starbeezy. How come Christ looks so different in every culture? Because he doesn't exist. How about Korean Jesus? Chinese Jesus. Oh, I don't know why that's so funny. What's the meme of Korean Jesus? Oh, that's a funny one though. Anyway, sorry about that. Sorry about that. Mormon meeting buildings are called stake centers. They are. That's so true, Jason. They call it the stakes of Zion, unless I'm incorrect, which is very, very unlikely. People telling that Dracula has morals and Jesus does not. I'm just saying. I don't know. I wouldn't say Dracula has morals. Dracula has a code. He's got a code. Let's see. Rebite marks. Jesus is Grateful Dead. Dracula is AC/DC in black. I don't get the reference. I wasn't much of one of those guys. Love how the depictions of Jesus are of a white man. If he did exist, he wouldn't have been white. Probably not. 3 rods is better than 1, says Retro Modern Art. No, these are the same rods. Let's see. Blind gods need help to enter the abode. That's why they have to be let in. Interesting. I like that. Dracula movies. What Dracula movies do you recommend? Bram Stoker's Dracula is absolutely the best ever. Just a tremendous movie. You got to watch it. Interview with the Vampire was a really good movie. That was a really good movie. Good for you, One with Nature. Have you sent a debate invite to James White? I don't even know who James White is. Maybe Dracula was based on Jesus. Maybe. Maybe so. Vlad and Charles, Prince Charles, are like doppelgangers. They really are. They really are. Let's see. What is down cross and not a good trick to get people to carry crosses? Don't know what that one is. Prince Charles had to marry a very beautiful woman so their offspring would look acceptably handsome. Good point. Good point. Let's see what else we got. Jeff is already kind of sparkly. I am. I must have some vampire in me. Prince Charles admits that he's related to Dracula. Yeah, except Dracula was better looking. Dee Dee's having a great time. I'm so glad you are, Dee Dee. If Jesus was real and actually came back and tried to walk on water, would he sink because of the holes in his hands and feet? Chapstick. The only time I ever bombed at stand-up was on a joke just like that. Why did Jesus walk on water? How the hell is he supposed to swim with those holes in his hands and feet? And there was a big Bible group there, and they got mad at me, and they were like half the crowd, and it was over. But anyway, Jeff, you're my hero. Thank you. I appreciate that. Jesus isn't real. He was born under the sign of Titus. T-boom. Bam, girl, that was a good one. That was a really good one. Nosferatu. The word faith is more powerful than Jesus. That's what people believe in him. Oh, Bible people are always mad about something. They are. They really are. All right, ladies and gentlemen, there you go. Now you know Jesus and Dracula. Let's run that by just one more time so you can see my beautiful meme. And I'll show you, just remind you one more time of the deal. If you're going to give your soul to somebody, if you want to make a deal, well, let's at least let you know what deals are there for the making. Where is that? I'm just going to go with screen. And then once we go with screen, we'll do this. And boom, there's that. I like it. If you're going to give your soul away, let's make a deal. Jesus or Dracula? Both died and rose from the dead. Both ate crosses. Both had disciples. They like the same hairstyles. Dracula needs permission to come in. Jesus stands at the door and knocks. Both require you to drink their blood. Both require you to die for them and promise resurrection. But Jesus says someday, and in the same broke-ass body that you got now, Dracula says today, and he'll resurrect you in eternal hotness. Plus, with Dracula, you can fly, shapeshift, disappear, and chicks dig you. Plus the added benefit that Dracula might actually be real. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think I've created all the hate and dissimulation that I can for one podcast. I may come back later today and start getting into the truth of the Roman New Testament with Caesar's Messiah, getting ready for Joseph Atwell to come back on Monday. What does it mean to give your soul away? Go to church, Lucas, and watch an altar call, and you'll know exactly what it means to give your soul away. Mr. Nice Guy says that he is going to take the Jesus deal. Okay, bro. Good luck coming back in the same broken down body over and over again. Yeah, I've given you the information. If you still choose the Jesus deal, that's door number 2. Have a good time, my friend. Have a good time. Dracula seems like a nice guy. A nicer guy. I am Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower. This is, ladies and gentlemen, the Christian Whistleblower channel. We are here to help you guide your own spirit, master your own ascension, and be your own guru. We're here to help you unindoctrinate yourself, and sometimes a little silliness / fun like this will help you to unindoctrinate yourself. You don't have original sin. That's a lie. You've got the spark of divinity within. The kingdom of God's in you. And we are the last generation of real humans. There's over 40,000 of us now. We can win today and write a better tomorrow. Folks, things are not bad and getting worse. Things are good and getting better. And you and I are here to spread the news and make damn sure they do. Until next time, I salute you for being here seeking after truth. Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower. We'll see you again real soon.